Our school-wide implementation plan will feature PECs, or Picture Exchange Communication Systems. Group 2 members consist of April, Casey, Jamelia, and Taylor. The Ellison Preschool has a fairly large student body of 200 ages of 3 and 5. 25 of the students are nonverbal, but only 5 use PECs. As a group, we felt that it would be beneficial if all of the students got on board using the PEC system. We also believe that peer modeling of PECs could increase interaction between students. The school has many professionals, paraprofessionals, and volunteers available to them. By strategically placing volunteers and delegating tasks for paraprofessionals and volunteers, implementing this intervention can be done effectively.
Before we train you to implement this intervention in your preschool, we want to make sure that you understand what PECS is. The Picture Exchange Communication System is a type of AAC device, which means that it is a device that allows for an alternative approach to communication. PECS consists of pictures, either ones that are generated by a computer program or ones that you as the implementer will take from the student's environment. It then uses them as symbols to represent needs and wants that the child is struggling to communicate about. One of the greatest things that you will learn as you implement PECS is that it's fairly easy to implement, and it can be implemented by teachers, parents, and even peers.
Creating daily schedules allows the child to have a visual idea of what they will be doing during each school day. By creating individualized schedules for each student, instructors can establish structured preferred activity times.
Many studies have been conducted that support the use of PECS and peer-modeled interventions to improve the communication of children who are nonverbal. A study by Strausberger and Ferrari supports that peer-mediated intervention can be used to successfully teach children how to communicate using AAC devices such as PECS. McLay and colleagues showed that the generalization and maintenance of communicative skills are better when AAC devices that are used involve graphics, like the pictures that we will use in PECS. Finally, a recent study by Biggs, Carter, and Gustafson supported the use of AAC devices in an inclusive setting similar to that of Ellison Preschool to support communication between typically developing peers and peers with communication needs.
There are 6 total phases of PECS. Today we will overview only the first 3 steps. When most of our kiddos have mastered these steps, we will consider moving forward to implementing phases 4 through 6. Phases 1 through 3 include exchanging across distance, and discrimination of pictures. This will teach our kiddos to start the basic steps of manding via PECS. In Phase 1 is designed to errorlessly teach the learner how to exchange the PECS card. During Phase 1, the card is blank. Depending on the learner is how quickly the phase may go. Some learners may only need a few prompts, whereas others may need it over and over. Regardless, a shadow is used so that the person in the exchange with the learner does not need to prompt. The shadow will prompt the learner to reach for the card and give it to the person who has the desired item. Phase 2 is similar to Phase 1, but you are increasing the distance between the learner and the person with the item. In this case, the person with the item is a peer. The learner is now using one picture card at a time for a desired item. Distance usually starts from one step to a few steps. The person receiving the card should not make eye contact with the learner and engage with the desired item to entice the learner to approach them. The learner should place the card in the peer's hand. This is so that when the learner is in a natural setting, they will know how to gain the attention of the person they want to give the card to. Finally, Phase 3 implements discrimination between picture cards. The peer should only give the item that matches the card given. Peers will hold out 2 desired items that match the cards.
The data collection procedures that we will use to record and collect data is frequency. The data collection forms are phase specific for each of these 3 phases. As you can see, these are examples of data collection forms that can be used for phases 1 through 3.
I want ball. I want beads. My turn. What do you want? I want ball. I want beads. Good job.
As you can see in the example video, the child has learned to communicate using the I Want board with pictures in the communication book. For your use in the classroom, the communication board should be filled with desired toys and activities in the classroom. Having the child appropriately ask and communicate their wants for preferred items in the class will lead to less frustration, tantrums, and fighting over mutually desired items in the classroom. It is important to only reward the child with what they ask for using their board, even if you know that he or she chose the wrong picture. Prompting can be given if the child continuously chooses the wrong picture, especially if the child starts to become frustrated. Using error correction after incorrect picture usage will be a useful tool when the child is learning to use the I Want PEC system. Having the child first point to the I want and then the picture of the item that they would like will increase sentence structure. Remember to always reinforce immediately upon delivery of correct I want usage in order to increase communication in nonverbal students in the classroom. Oops. Our goal for this training video and the implementation of the picture exchange communication system in your classroom is to improve the communication between students, to reduce fighting and tantrums. Giving the nonverbal students a way to communicate with teachers, support staff, and fellow peers will create a sense of community among your classroom. Reviewing and analyzing what is reinforcing for the students through ongoing preference assessments will provide adequate incentive for the nonverbal students to communicate through the use of pictures. Because PECs will be implemented in multiple areas of the school day, it is essential to have weekly meetings where teachers, speech therapists, the BCBA, additional support staff, and volunteers meet to discuss improvements in communication in areas where they feel additional training might need to take place. Data collection and any notes taken during training should be presented and discussed at weekly meetings. Establishing constant communication among all instructors implementing PECs will allow for everyone to be on the same page and working towards the same goals. Teacher and support staff should encourage parents to implement a picture exchange communication system similar to the one used in school at home. By implementing a similar style of communication in the home, you will see an increase in improvements in classroom communication from your nonverbal students. We hope that you find this information provided in the training video useful, and we hope it reduces the number of fights and tantrums in your classroom. Please contact us with any questions, comments, or concerns you may have.